Welcome to Thriving with your host, Dr. Mike Corral. Join the conversation as Mike looks at everything that is essential to optimal living. Coach Mike will discuss what happens when we integrate the functions of the body, heart, and mind, and how they impact our quality of life and general well-being. He'll also examine the distinct areas of life that are impacted by the way individuals care for their bodies, hearts, and minds, and how they interact with each other to allow them to thrive. So now, please welcome the host of Thriving, Dr. Mike Corral.
Welcome back to Thriving. I'm Dr. Mike Corral, and I would be delighted to be your life coach today. As you may remember, a couple of weeks ago, we did a session on creating your personal identity, your understanding your direction, and your purpose. Once we gain clarity as to who we are and why we're here, we need to develop the power to move towards what it is that we want, have our direction and a purpose. But today I want to talk a little bit about what would happen if you found resistance in fulfilling that purpose. I have an example. I want you to imagine a sprinter training for a race. Oftentimes, professionals and competitive runners will train using these parachutes that they attach to their back, like on a backpack. And as they begin to build speed, they release these parachutes that create drag and resistance throughout the running process. That drag and resistance forces the runner to work extra hard, and the extra resistance also helps them to build extra strength. And these parachutes are done intentionally to build that strength and to build that character. But what if you discovered in your life that you had all of these challenges from your past experiences, past emotions, beliefs from your past that acted in the same way, creating resistance in your life? It's one thing to have intentional running parachutes to give you strength, to build your character, to build your stamina and your ability. But it's another thing to have these running parachutes, metaphorically speaking, metaphorical running parachutes attached to you as you try to proceed through life, running life's race. Imagine, what would you do? What if you could use that resistance? All of those limitations in your life, those beliefs, that lack of clarity or that lack of authority, personal authority to move towards your goals in life. What if you could actually use that and proceed as if you had nothing stopping you, so that by the time you're ready to release those parachutes, you can sprint like never before? That's what today's episode is going to be discussing. And I want before we even get started, I want you to take a minute, take a deep breath, close your eyes, take a deep breath, fill your lungs to capacity, and as you exhale, exhale with a sigh of gratitude, thinking of absolutely anything that you might be grateful for. The fact that you can breathe, the fact that you have a safe place to live, you have food on the table, you have friends, you have family, whatever it is that you have that you can be grateful for. Take a minute and remember that and be grateful. Very good. Now take another deep breath in through your nose and exhale with a sigh of gratitude. Very good. Very good. So we're going to begin with something simple and physical. These are the intentional parachutes. that runners use. What happens, what they do is they attach these parachutes, they run at full force against all of that resistance for a while. And after they have built up stamina, after they have built up speed, after they have built up um, the resilience, they release those parachutes and continue to sprint. The effect is like nothing else. You're able to run a lot faster. You're able to feel a lot freer. You're able to run with more determination and more speed. And that's pretty much how it is when we realize that we're trying to pursue our goals. We're trying to create, find the meaning in our life and our purpose in our life. But all of these things from our past are getting in the way. They're creating drag for us. When we decide in our mind that we are going to find a meaningful use for those things that we cannot change in our past, we actually give them value. We can actually give them value by understanding that they're not going to go away until it's time for them to go away. And if we can build um, our desire, our purpose, our determination, and stick to our goals with meaning, in spite of all those limitations, what would happen when those limitations are gone? Well, let me tell you something. We can actually do that. There is a way to do that. And I want to tell you a little bit about different philosophies in life. You know, the Christian faith has a concept that a lot of people may take for granted. It's the concept of forgiveness and redemption. So I want you to remember, imagine all the mistakes that you've made in your life. You may have made some bad decisions in your life in the past. You may have had a difficult upbringing. You may have experienced some traumatic events in your life and developed these, I don't know, limiting beliefs. Um, Imagine that all of those beliefs and the troubling thoughts that haunt you in your life, what if they could be valuable in some way? Imagine them kind of like those parachutes. What if somebody says, you know what, I am going to forgive you for all the mistakes that you made. I'm going to forgive all of the limiting beliefs. I'm going to take away the effects of all of those things and replace them with something of value. Think about that. Forgiveness is one concept, but redemption is another. Being forgiven for the mistakes that you made, even forgiving yourself for the mistakes that you've made and deciding to move forward with your life can actually be enhanced with what we call redemption, because what redemption does is it gives them value. The way you would do that with the past memories and the challenges from your past is by learning from them, simply learning from them. We all make mistakes. We can't avoid making mistakes. And the important thing to realize is instead of allowing our mistakes to haunt us, we need to learn how to forgive ourselves. We don't necessarily need to be forgiven from others. Maybe we need to be forgiven by the law. Maybe we need to be forgiven by our siblings, our family, and friends. Absolutely. But to be able to move forward, you also need to forgive yourself. And you also need to know that there was something to learn from that. And the learning is a golden nugget that gives it value. Once you learn something from those mistakes and you begin to share what you've learned with other people, you allow other people to benefit from your mistakes. And that is what gives it value. And that's what redemption is. That's what we call redemption. You know, there aren't very many faiths that believe in forgiveness or redemptions. And in our culture, it's quite common um, to know about the concept of forgiveness. And we use the word redemption quite a bit. But do you really know the meaning of it? Allow yourself to think about that and decide for yourself. Do I need this forgiveness? Do I need to turn this into some kind of value, something that will help me move forward? And that's exactly what you need to do. So, what if you could do the same thing? What if the pressures, the challenges, the struggles that you face become your intentional resistance? It's a matter of deciding. I'm going to use all of those things in my past intentionally to give me strength, and I'm going to give them value by adding meaning to them. You know, nothing has any meaning of its own. Anything means comes from us, from the meaning that we give it. We can give our past mistakes a meaning of value simply by understanding what the results are. To give you an example, let's just say you I don't know, you got involved with drugs or hung out with the wrong people, and you learned some valuable lessons from that. You learned that you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting your family as well. You're putting your friends at risk. You're putting your community at risk. Having learned that lesson probably came at a stiff price. Maybe somebody was harmed. Maybe somebody suffered terribly because of those mistakes. Taking that lesson and learning from it and deciding that you're gonna uh, help people make a better decision in their lives from it gives your past a value that others can benefit from. I think that it may be tough sometimes because we often rely on our authority or someone we admire to do the forgiving for us. Sometimes, and it's not always possible to do that. But the moment you forgive yourself and begin to move on, you understand that you have God on your side. This is what Christian faith believes. You have God on your side who will always forgive you no matter how many times you make a mistake, no matter how many times you fail. You can always get up and continue the race. This is true with addictions. This is true with bad habits. It's true with weaknesses in other things. It's important to know that there's a power greater than yourself. There's a power greater than those around you that can do the forgiving for you and that can help restore you to justice, as it were. The important part of it is the intentionality behind it. Unless you decide that you're going to use your past, unless you acknowledge what it was that was the mistake. And it doesn't even have to be something that you did. It could be a limiting belief, a failure to acknowledge your own strength, a terrible shyness that makes you afraid to do things in public. It could be a number of different things, limiting beliefs and limiting ideas. The important thing to realize is that they're mere ideas. And if you want something bad enough, if you want something that will benefit the rest of the world bad enough, you will be empowered to do it. And it's just a matter of making the decision. Yes, this is what I want for my life. The minute you make the decision, you can begin to imagine what it will be like with all of the detail, with all of the specifications that are needed. When we come back, we're going to talk about the unintentional parachutes and uh, how to use them and the drag they cause in our life to propel us forward. Don't go away. See you.
Three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorick, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorick has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back. So now I have an exercise for you. I want you to sit comfortably in your seat. Take a deep breath. Fill your lungs to capacity. And as you exhale, I just want you to allow your eyelids to close. And continue to breathe normally. Notice how good it feels to have your eyes closed right now. That's right. Take another breath. Allow yourself to feel like you're sinking deep into a state of relaxation. Deeply relaxed. Very good. Very good. Now, I want you to imagine that you're running on a large track. You're the only one there, and you see the whole track in front of you, and you're running. Feel your breath. Feel your heart pumping. That's right. Allow yourself to feel your pace picking up. That's right. Now, I want you to imagine that the running that you're doing is not just a race. The running is your life journey. You're running toward your goals. Steady pace. With the certainty of where you're going. In the direction that you know is right. With the purpose that you've established for yourself. Your calling. Your purpose. That's why you're running. Very good. Now I want you to imagine this parachute behind you that inflates as you pick up speed. And you can feel the drag, you can feel it pulling you back, and you decide that you're not going to let it stop you. You're going to continue to run with the drag. Feel that pressure pulling your back, and you're still running and running with all of that resistance. You feel that resistance. This is resistance that you didn't choose. It was chosen for you. It's what you were born into. You didn't choose it. This parachute is made of old mistakes, poor choices, bad habits. It's made of fear, shame, guilt, low self-esteem, trauma, family patterns, voices in your head, all of these things are your parachutes, creating drag in your race towards success, towards happiness, towards fulfillment. But you're still running at a steady, even pace. That's right. I'm going to count from 5 to 1, and when I get to the number 1, I want you to take another deep breath and open your eyes. 5. These parachutes have significant meaning. Know what they mean. 4. You can release those parachutes when the time is right. 3. When you release those parachutes, you'll be free to run as fast as you want, as fast as you're capable of. 2. Be grateful for the fact that you have the cord and you can pull the cord and release the parachutes when you know it's time. And 1, take a deep breath and open your eyes. Good. You did great. You know, those unintentional parachutes, the emotional baggage, the mental drag that you never asked for, the pressure, the unrealistic expectations in your life. All of those things create drag in your life. And yet you continue to live your life. You continue to run that same race. But now you can discover when is the right time to let go of them. You can let go of them whenever you decide that you're willing to face them, that you're willing to acknowledge them for all that they are. And that will be the right time. Sometimes you need somebody with you to help you go through this process and make a breakthrough in your life. And that's what we're here for. That's what I'm here for. I have an exercise for you. Another one. Go ahead and close your eyes again. Take a deep breath. Exhale. I want you to scan your life. Kind of like when people say their life passes in front of them. I want you to scan your life. When did you first begin to feel that drag? When did you first notice those things in your life that get in your way? Where did you feel that resistance? Where was it? When was it? Did you feel like you're working twice as hard as you need to be and only making half the progress? When did all that happen in your life? That heaviness. That heaviness is your unintentional parachute. You were born into it. You didn't do it to yourself, but you were born into it. Just because you were born into it, it doesn't mean that you have to live with it forever. It's more of a gift than a challenge. It's an opportunity to inherit greatness because of those challenges. It's like a gift that's wrapped in a harsh package. On the outside, it looks challenging, it looks uninviting, it looks like something nobody would want. But as you open it, you realize that by overcoming those challenges, you build strength that nobody else will have. You create talents and skills that nobody else will have because you've been given this gift and you've been given these challenges that take strength to overcome. Now, I want you to realize right now, at this very moment, you're sitting in that chair looking at me on the screen, having overcome a number of challenges that go back years in your life, and you're still here. You're still alive. You still have the ability to breathe, to speak, to learn, to teach, to do all these different things that every human can do. In other words, you're not defeated. You're still alive and you're still viable. Notice that and be grateful, because in all of that process, all of those things that you have overcome in your life has given you strength that you haven't acknowledged yet. That strength is a strength like nobody else has because of your unique situation. Your unique challenges are what give you your unique strengths. Here's the truth: you can't outrun your unintentional parachute. Your unintentional parachute will always create a drag until the moment you decide that you're going to learn something from it, that you're going to develop a skill or a talent or a strength, not in spite of it, but because of it. When you decide that you're going to use that challenge in your life the way a bodybuilder uses weights, the way different people use different things in their lives to build their strength, that's when you take control of it. That's when you release its power. At that moment, the power that it has fades, and you can run full force towards your goal with the meaning that you have given it, and your why, the reason why you're doing it. And at the same time, you're clarifying what it is. You're giving it uh, more detail, more specificity, and you're learning exactly how to do it better. You can't hustle your way past shame. You have to be honest with yourself and make the decision and understand why it is you feel that shame. Shame happens to all of us, but shame only thrives in secrecy. You need somebody in your life that you can talk to. You need somebody in your life that will protect your privacy, that will maintain your confidentiality, someone that you can trust, somebody that you can be vulnerable with, that won't judge you, that won't criticize you. Even if it's only one person, you need to find that person and tell them your secrets, because shame will not thrive in honesty. Shame cannot thrive in integrity. The freedom that you have to speak your truth will allow you to become a person of integrity, to live with integrity. And that is everything. Integrity means you're whole and complete, and nobody can threaten you. You can't be blackmailed when you're living your truth. It's important to realize that honesty is not threatening. Honesty is a strength. To be forthcoming and to be able to live your life in integrity. And it's not always easy. That's why we need to choose our friends wisely. We need to build trust with someone and make it a mutual opportunity. You be there for them and listen to them, and value their confidence, value their vulnerability and respect it, and they'll do the same for you. When we come back, we're going to talk about forgiveness a little bit more and the redemption process, how we can make it work for us. Don't go away.
master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life. Author, radio show host, and Cove gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. So, we just talked about forgiveness and redemption. You know, it's important to realize that forgiveness and redemption are not abstract ideas. These are identity shifting forces. These are very, very powerful forces that many of us take for granted, and we utilize them all the time, and yet we don't understand their significance. So, I'm going to break it down for you. Forgiveness, it cuts the cord. Imagine the cord that holds the running parachute onto you. And to release that cord, you need to break it free. That's what forgiveness does. It's God's act of removing all the guilt, all the shame, all of the condemnation in your past, and giving you the opportunity to stop over criticizing yourself, to stop overthinking things, to stop worrying. All of those things take faith. Those things require that you believe in the forgiveness, that you believe that you're being forgiven. The best way to do that is to learn how to forgive yourself, because you're the one who's in charge. You're the one who's doing the forgiving. If you're the one doing the forgiving, you'll know when you're forgiven, right? If you're the one feeding yourself a meal, you know when you're being fed. You know when you're going to be fed because you're the one doing it. Try forgiving yourself, giving yourself permission to let go of the shame. Forgiveness says you're clean. It says you are free. You're not defined by what you did. You're not defined by what you feel. You're not defined by how you think or overthink or underthink. Forgiveness says the parachute is no longer attached. Forgiveness is the moment the unintentional parachute detaches. You've let it go with a simple decision, the decision to receive the forgiveness. You're no longer dragging it, you're no longer accused by it. People are going to accuse us of things in the outside world. People are going to accuse us of things all the time. It happens all the time to a lot of people every single day. Somebody's accusing us of something. Maybe not to our face, maybe they're talking about us or whatever, but that does not make it true. Nothing anybody says or thinks about you makes it true about you. You are what make your truth be known. You're the one. You're the one living your truth. You're the one allowing people to see how you live your life. When you decide to live your life out loud, as it were, for everybody to hear, you become a testimony. You become a living example of what it is to be human, what it is to be forgiven, how it feels to be free, how it feels to know that you are still loved and cherished despite your past, despite your flaws, despite your mistakes. You're still loved, you are still cherished, and now you're free. Big difference between hiding behind hypocrisy and secrecy and denying that you have any flaws, denying that you've ever made mistakes. All of those lies and all of those, uh, I don't know, sins, we'll call them. All of that is gone. Imagine the feeling. Imagine the freedom to be your honest self. Redemption adds another element to it, because not only are you forgiven for your flaws, for your past, every mistake that you made now has value. It's worth something. Every mistake that you made that you decided you were going to learn from now has value, because now you have something you've learned, something that you can share with others, and something that you can build someone else's life with. More truth, more insight, more wisdom, more compassion, more empathy for other people. All of those qualities make you a valuable person. They make you the person that people want to be around. They make you the person that people want to learn from. They want to emulate you. Why? Because we all need love, we all need compassion, we all need forgiveness. And if you are a source of all those great things, guess what? People are going to follow you. They're going to like and subscribe to your channel, and they're going to follow you. And you may even get a comment that says thank you. That's value. And that would not happen without redemption. That would not happen without forgiveness. In case you're wondering what it means to be a Christian or even how to become a Christian, it's very, very simple. All you have to do is make a decision. All you have to do is express your desire to have Jesus in your life. It's all written down. And I can show you how to do that. But for now, all you need to do is close your eyes in the privacy of your mind, in the privacy of your heart, and ask Jesus to be a part of it, to be your guidance, to be your conscience, to be that still small voice within you that guides you and tells you which way to go. It's that simple. So let's talk a little bit about the redemption and how you can repurpose your past. I deal with people on a daily basis that have struggled and that have survived traumatic events in their lives, that have made terrible mistakes, who feel like damaged goods, who are struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder, who are struggling with issues like attention deficit and all these different things, poor self-image. These are things that happen to them. And as you well know, things happen to all of us, but we get a choice. We can either be victimized by it, we can be victims, or we can survive them one after the other and be survivors, or we can be victors. We can be the ones who overcome them. Now keep in mind that your identity is going to be attached to what you choose. Do you want to be a victim? Your identity will be tied to that victimhood. And it's going to be one thing after another that you become a victim of. Time passes, opportunities pass, things change. But if if you identify as a victim, you're always going to be victimized perpetually over and over again. If you're a survivor, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, you will have survived one thing after the other. But do you really want your life to be a series of survival? Wouldn't you rather know how it feels to be a winner, to win, a victor, somebody who overcomes them? To be able to do that, you need to know how to forgive yourself. You need to know when God has forgiven you. You need to know what you can learn from your mistakes and be redeemed for them and turn them into something valuable. At which point you'll have something good to give to somebody else. It'll keep you humble, it'll keep you modest, it'll bring you favor with a higher power. It'll bring you favor with the creator of the universe. And it'll also bring you favor with your friends, your loved ones, your family, and anybody else that you have not met yet that can benefit from your nature, from your way of being, from the integrity that fills your life. Redemption says your wounds become wisdom. Your failures become authority. Your shame becomes testimony. Your struggle becomes compassion. Your weakness becomes strength. That's what redemption does. It's a concept that cannot be taken for granted. It's a concept worth cherishing, worth utilizing in your life to build your own success and to help other people create a path of success as well. Redemption is the spiritual equivalent of the intentional parachutes, the ones that the runners attached on purpose to their back, the ones that the weightlifters use, that bodybuilders use to create resistance. Resistance. You know this already because if you've ever been to the gym or ever run a race or trained for anything, the resistance is what builds your strength and it's what builds your power. So why not use the past? Why not use the hand that you were dealt? Why not use those gifts that were wrapped up in ugly paper? Open them up and see what they're really like. See how you can use them in your life so that you can actually benefit from them, so that you can actually share your benefit with other people. The past no longer drags you, it develops you. The memory no longer wounds you, it trains you. And the mistake no longer defines you, it refines you. Think about it. Don't go away. We'll be right back to wrap this up. Thanks for being here. See you in a minute.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Master of words, powerful player. What life-changing words can Dr. Janet Smith Warfield pull out of her magical toolbox that just might mysteriously open a door you never knew was there? A door to free yourself from fear forever. Transform your rage into right action. Release your guilt. Position you into a life of freedom, purpose, passion, power, and peace. All quite suddenly, unexpectedly, and almost miraculously, with no effort on your part. Join Dr. Janet on Dancing with Words, Dancing with Wisdom, as she and her guests show you how words map our experiences, immersing you in a sound bath that relaxes your muscles, opens your mind, and supports you in co-creating your extraordinary life.
Thanks for staying with me today. I just hope that you're getting something, that your soul is being nourished by all of this. And if it is, please be sure to like and subscribe. Also leave a comment so that I can actually address any issues that you might think need special attention. By the way, you can also reach me at www.olcp.life. That's www.olcp.life. Or you can call me directly and I will answer 508-648-0825. So, just as a quick recap, forgiveness frees you from the past. Redemption equips you with wisdom from the past. Forgiveness removes the drag. Redemption adds the power. Forgiveness says you're forgiven. Redemption says you're transformed. So, this is how God turns your unintentional parachutes into intentional ways of growing. Intentional resistance that helps you develop your strength, your character, your wisdom, your insight, your compassion, and especially your love and your humility. I would like for you to understand that you have more power than you realize. You're stronger than you know, you're smarter than you know. You're more valuable than you know. And I want you to turn all of that into useful knowledge. Instead of being ashamed of your past, turn your past into wisdom and express it in a way that will enlighten other people, that will help other people, that will save other people. You know, a wise man learns from his mistakes, but a wiser man will learn from the mistakes of others as well. By learning from someone else's mistakes, you make their life worth living, believe it or not. You give value to the lives of others by allowing them to teach you, by allowing them to share their life with you, their testimony with you, by allowing them to admit their mistakes to help you. Those people need to be respected. They need to be cherished. They need to be honored for that nobility. So today we talked about intentional resistance. We talked about how it builds strength. We also discussed unintentional parachutes that create drag in our life. We also talked about forgiveness and redemption, how they transform your past into power. I want you to understand that whenever you're ready, you can make that decision to turn your past into power. And you don't have to be scared doing it. You can make the decision in the privacy of your own heart, in the privacy of your own mind, where nobody else will hear. You have to just be honest with yourself, brutally honest with yourself, and do it in a way that allows you to be forgiving. Do it in a way that allows you to be the person you would like other people to be with you. You all know the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Help people understand. Be understanding. Be compassionate. Be there for someone. As soon as you make the decision to forgive yourself, you will find yourself in the company of someone who needs to be forgiven, who needs to be understood, who needs to feel your compassion, not the blame, not the guilt, not the criticism, not the judgment. We're not here for any of that. It's not a Christian's job to do any of that. It's not anybody's job unless you're a judge in a court. So learn how to be forgiving, learn how to be compassionate, learn how to be understanding. You never know when you'll find yourself in the same situation as someone you criticized. Make sense? Thanks for being with us. Please remember, like and subscribe and comment. I'm Coach Mike. Glad to be here for you. Bye-bye.
This has been Thriving with host Dr. Mike Corral. Listen each week as Coach Mike will talk with guest experts in the areas of physical, mental, and spiritual health to help us dive deeper into those topics and share their insight and expertise on how anyone can thrive regardless of circumstances and perceived limitations. Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern.